Hi, welcome to the next edition of Competitive List. Today I got 3 decks to talk about that either did quite well in a challenge on MTGO or they got a 5-0 in the league. First, we're going to start off with the deck that got a 5-0. It got all these cards got all these decks got either they're brand new and they all feature brand new cards as well. If you like the series, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe, hit that bell notification so we're for future videos. We're on our way to 1,000 subs. We're about 80 subs out. Let's get there together. And if you're interested, of course, there's a link down in the description to my Discord channel, also my locals and my Patreon. If you want to see additional content from me, like deck guides, bonus videos, they're all there. $5 a month gets you access to that. If you pay $20 a month, you're guaranteed to get a lot of extra stuff going on there. You get a free deck you get a deck every month. I play through League, plus a guide, plus, you get your credits, name in the credits, and all that. So if you want to do either one of those things to help support my content, you can. Also, $20, you could also just pay for directly a League and a deck article, including suggested upgrades and sideboard guides. So all that is in the description. And let's get into these 3 sweet decks. So first on my list is a deck that has been going around for a little bit now. That's called Gary, quote unquote, Vampires. Now, traditionally this deck was playing a full playset of fight rigging. It looks like it got rid of fight rigging and instead it picked up Huntsman's Redemption to help find your Vein Rippers. Now, which is quite interesting, especially since if this is no longer a fight rigging deck, the fact that we're playing 2 copies of the Gitrog monster, the new one, is quite interesting to me. I don't know why I didn't read too much into the deck when I add it to this list. I just seen that it's playing the new Gitrog. Of course, it's also playing Pillage the Pog, which is starting to show up in a widespread of different decks. So clearly the card must be relatively good. I figured it would be really good. I put it on my sleeper video because I thought it was going to be a good card for Pioneer. But Huntsman's Redemption replaces fight rigging, which makes a lot of sense. It helps find your Vein Ripper. Also can get you a Shieldred, which is quite powerful. And really, you don't really care to sack your Dust Legion Zealot. Once they're down, they're kind of useless. So it makes a lot of sense in this deck. And of course, like I said, we're playing the Gitrog monster. A couple copies. It's a 6/5 with haste and trample. Pretty decent stats overall. We're playing another Shieldred in the board for Lotus Field, potentially Phoenix. Decks up draw a decent amount of cards, like their pour over pages. 3 pick your poisons for the mirror for vampires. 2 damping spheres to fight through Lotus Field. 2 duresses for control combo. Then we have our license hurts for graveyard heat, like for Phoenix. 2 Liliana the Veils. This is really good. They come in against grinding matchups and control matchups. 3 Thoughtseizes for a little bit of hand disruption. Most likely we'll be cutting the fatal push against control, bringing in the Thoughtseizes. So that is Golgari Vampires for Pioneer. Let's get into the next list. Next on my list is a different take on Prophet's Memory. Basically, every time you draw a card, you could put another counter on something on your combat phase. So this deck is utilizing all the cards that have the pay into the ability to loot. I guess the Eldrazi one doesn't say discard, it just says straight up draw, and the Sailor. So this deck is particularly trying to just Hawker plus Ignite, the Jewel and Training Grounds to help discount all your activated abilities and just activate them tons, and then use Prophet to win the game. So this deck looks pretty interesting. Like I said, it's a different take on Prophet, which I'll be featuring a deck this season with Prophet. Now this deck has a completely different take on it. What do you guys think about this list? Like, all these lists will be in the description, like always, but it's quite interesting how this deck is constructed. Like I said, we have a decent amount of redundancy, right? We have a total of 16 1-drops that I'll just draw, either by conniving, looting, drawing. So, and it's a pretty interesting take. Sideboard, we do have 3 Rest in Pieces for the Phoenix matchup. 4 Stone Brains. Gets Amalia. Also can get, other combo decks like Lotus Field. 3 Mystical Disputes. Also pretty decent against Lotus Field and Control. 3 Holes and Agus as a way to fight through aggro, right? So we could bring them in, get rid of small permanents. Agus also helps get rid of creatures that may be mid-sized, even something like Sheoldred. So we turn our Sailor into a Sheoldred, which is quite funny and powerful. So that is our brand new blue-white Prophet 1-drop, but something, I don't know. Pretty sweet overall list. I just now realized it also plays a Nykthos. I guess it technically does play nothing but blue pips. So, I don't know. Let's get into the last list, which I think you guys are going to like. And like I said, all these lists are in the description. Let's get into the last list. Last on my list is a Smuggler Surprise Soulflare list. This deck is not playing the... it is playing Urborg Scavengers. Only 3 copies at the top. This also is playing the brand new Hydra, which like I said, I figured it would show up in this deck just because it is a scalable threat, so you could get it down on turn 4 for a 3/3. It also plays like early stuff, interaction pieces like Deep Cavern Bat, which has flying and lifelink, so it has 2 relevant keywords. Then we have our looting type effects with the Elemental Elk that has trample as a keyword. Not really a lot of keywords there, but it is something you would cast the front end and the back half if you needed to. Riverwinder typically shows up in this list because hexproof is really important. Just being able to protect your scavengers and your Soulflare is really important. Samut, 3 copies because it's a castable threat, and as well as it's also a reasonable body and gives double strike. Salvage makes a lot of sense. We're trying to find our scavengers and Soulflare while also filling up our yard like Zentalpa. And then we have Smuggler Surprise, which actually makes a lot of sense in this deck when you think about it, because you have a 1 option, right? Either you can just look top 4, dig, try to find your Soulflare. 2, why not? You could just cheat into Zentalpa. So yeah, you could just cheat into Zentalpa, right? I mean, who cares, right? So it is an interesting take. Maybe there could be a different build of this deck where your goal is to get Soulflare and Scavengers, but the other half is you just run 4 copies of Smuggler Surprise, and you just, if you make it there, you make it there, and you just cheat as a Talpa and something else into play and say, hey, deal with that. So I like that aspect of maybe a potential new deck. Collective Brutality because it helps conniving. I mean, not conniving, but it helps you pitch extra cards from your hand, fill up your graveyard so that your Soulflare can come down and get all the keywords. I don't know why. I have still thinking about the last deck clearly because it's not conniving. Sideboard though, we do have 2 Pick Your Poisons for the Vampire matchup and Fable. Stubborn Denial to help protect our Soulflare. Later on, it can help protect our Scavengers, but immediately Scavengers is only a 3/3. 3 Damping Spheres for Lotus Field. We have The End as a way to fight through Amalia, so you get exile an Amalia or a Wild Growth Walker. Also could be decent against other creature-based combo decks. 2 Ashioks to help fight through Graveyard Hate. It is Graveyard Hate, and it also could help against Amalia or stuff and Lotus Field, where they do typically search for their Wing conditions. 2 Unmoored Egos for Combo Hate Control. Cunneling Ritual for Aggro. That is the last deck I have to talk about today. That is, I think 4 color, 5 color, just Soulflare. So, which deck did you like the most? Like I said, let me know all that down in the comment section. But until next time, hopefully you guys have a great rest of your day. Hopefully you guys are enjoying all these episodes, so that way you can get amped up for Pioneer RCQ season, which is happening right now. And I'll talk to you soon.